Symbolism. In our previous video, we have talked about symbol, symbol, and the use of symbol in poetry influenced a movement that is called symbolism. Today we discuss about this moment. First, we talk about the definition. The definition from the Greek symbolon. It has its origin from Greek word symbolon, meaning to throw together. It's mean when we throw something with something, it create an effect of symbol. The relatively sustained use of symbol to represent or suggest other things or idea. In our previous video, we have talked about that when something suggests something else, it's called symbol. As we talk example from flag. Flag is the symbol, is a thing, a piece of cloth, but it represents a nation's pride, dignity. So use of symbol in poetry influenced a movement in literature that is called symbolism. As in the background we can see it is a bee, it is a bird, it's a picture of a bird, that is a dove. It represent for peace. A dove represent peace. Various poets of romantic period, we can trace its history from romantic period, including novelists and Hölderlin in Germany and Shelley in England, often use private symbol in their poetry. If you remember the Ode to West Wind, a poem by B.B. Shelley, in which the dead leaves is used to represent the dead thought in society, and the current in Mediterranean Sea is representing the symbolizing the new thought in society. In 19th century America, we talk about America, a symbolist procedure was prominent element in the novels of Nathaniel Hawthorne and Herman Melville, the prose of Emerson and Thoreau. In America, we can trace in the writing of Hawthorne, Melville, Thoreau, and Emerson that there is a tint of symbol. Symbolists who exploited an order of private symbols in poetry of rich suggestiveness rather than explicit significance had an immense influence throughout Europe, especially in 1890s and later in England. Now we trace the various development in the poetry of rich suggestiveness. What symbol do? They suggest something. Rather than explicit significance. Saying something directly, they say something through something. That is symbol. That is the use of symbol. That they suggest something. They suggest rather than explicit significance. Had an immense influence throughout Europe and in 1990s and later England, America on poets as Arthur Symons. These are the major poets in America. Arthur Symons, Ernest Dowson, as well as W.B. Yeats, Ezra Pound, Dylan Thomas, Hart Crane, E. Cummings, Wallace Stevens. These were the major poets of symbolic movement or symbolism. Major symbolist poets in Germany are Stephen George and Ran Maria Rilke. When spelled with a capital S, with use of some capital S, symbolism referred to a literary movement that flourished in late 19th century in France. So symbolism has its origin in late 19th century in France. rebelling against realism and strict forms and convention of French poetry. So we can say the symbolist movement or the symbolism has its origin in France against realism. That was also a movement in literature, that is realism. When they protested against this, we have symbolism. The movement, which was heavily influenced by Poe, here we're talking about Edgar Allan Poe, American poet, a mid 19th century American poet, arose in poetry, then spread to other areas such as novels, theater, and visual art. So, in the earlier, we have example of Poe, Edgar Allan Poe. Noted works include Charles Baudelaire, a pioneering collection, Les Frères du Mal, The Flower of Evil. This is a name in French language. This is a French name. Arthur Rimbaud, A Season in Hell, and a collection of poetry, and J.K. Humas, a novel, Against Nature. These were the pioneering works in symbolist movement. The symbolist aimed for a poetry of suggestion rather than of direct statement. Here, how symbolism work? A poetry of suggestion rather than direct statement. They don't make any direct statement. They present their poetry, they present their thought through suggestion, evoking subjective moods through the use of private symbols while avoiding the description of external reality or the expression of opinion. How they work? They avoid the external description and opinion. They don't use external description. They wanted to bring poetry close to music, believing that sound has mysterious affinities with other senses. So they try to bring poetry too close to music. The influence of symbolism on European and American literature of the early 20th century was extensive. That it made a very extensive influence on American and European literature. Paul Ferry in France, Rainier Maria Rilke in Germany, and W.B. Yeats in English. So in England, Yeats, Rilke in Germany, and in Valley in French. Poetry made a very big contribution in tradition into the 20th century poetry. The modern period in the decades after World War I was a notable era of symbolism in the literature. Some of the works of the age are symbolist in their setting, their chants, and their action, as well as in their objects refer to. So this was a brief introduction to symbolism. In we 3 parts have discussed about symbol and symbolism. Thank you for watching.